hell did we just watch? We're breaking down the penultimate episode of Cult this week on American Horror Story Dissected. Hi, I'm Sadie Guinness.
And I'm Keisha Hatchett.
And last night's episode of Cult was a doozy.
Yes, there was a lot that happened, and none of it made sense, and I have no idea where to begin with this.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, maybe just watch this instead, because I really just did not like this week's episode at all. And, normally the show kind of jumps the shark a little earlier in the season, but it's still, fun and weird and, entertaining. But last night's episode, I just kind of thought it got off the rails, but not in a way that I normally enjoy with this show.
Yeah, this episode took a sharp turn left, and it just tried to pack so much into one episode that none of it really sort of came together for a cohesive story, and so I was a little thrown off.
Yeah, normally the episode before a finale, you're see where the end game is going, and you can kind of see how all the different pieces are going to come together in a way that is exciting and enticing. But this was just so many disparate parts, and there was no cohesion. Let's just start with the Manson flashbacks. It was so unnecessary. I feel with the Jim Jones stuff and the Valerie Solanas, it sort of taught us something about the present day storyline. But I learned absolutely nothing from this horrific scene.
Yeah, this really served no purpose this time. It was like they wanted to just put Evan Peters in another cult leader role just to see it and do it. But, it was great to see Leslie Grossman back and Billy Eichner.
Yes, I was so glad they came back, and, the wigs were, so bad that I found those amusing. But, Ryan Murphy has been wanting to do Manson for years. He always has been talking about wanting to do Manson, and he finally finds a way to work it in, and this is what we get. And I just didn't really understand the point at all.
Yeah, maybe he should have just done just a season of Manson or something to address everything. But yeah, here it had no connection to the outside world other than Kai really identifying with Manson himself.
But yeah, let's talk about how Manson came into the present-day storyline in the weirdest, Fight Club, Tyler Durden way. This scene where he's, talking to his zombie brother, and then Manson murders him, but it's not the ghost of Manson, because Manson is alive. It's, just a hallucination of a young Charlie Manson. I don't get why that was necessary, other than to show that, Kai is completely off his rocker. But we already knew that. I didn't need, Manson Durden running around this whole episode.
This was his Taylor Swift, look what you made me do moment. It was, the old Kai is dead. His familial ties are gone. It's this new crazy path that he's on, steered by Charles Manson, a.k.a., what are we going to call this, Kai's id?
Yeah, it was just very weird. And every time we would see, Kai Manson, it would just completely take me out of the story because it was just cheesy. It wasn't scary and it wasn't funny. And those are the two sort of paths that horror stories are really good at bringing together. And this was neither. It was just totally doing its own thing, off the map, not really campy, just kind of off-putting.
And very odd, and it just raised more questions than answered or entertained me.
But at least, a lot of things did go down in this episode. We saw some big moves being made that kind of started putting the pieces in place for Allie's endgame, but I'm not really quite sure I know what it is yet.
Yeah, this was a mini Red Wedding where they were just killing people off left and right, starting with Bibi Babbitt.
Yeah, she's, about to kill Kai, and then, Allie comes out of nowhere and kills her instead, which is an odd move, considering that, her whole plan is allegedly to kill Kai. So why do you think she just didn't let Bibi do it?
Maybe she needs Kai alive for something. Because her custody issues haven't completely been resolved yet, so maybe there's something that she needs him to do or something she needs to find out from him to really just be able to take custody. And also, I think he has some dirt on her.
Here's what I'm thinking right now. She is completely eliminating everyone Kai is close to. She's like feeding into his paranoia, made it so that like Winter got killed, and then we see her hooking up with Speedwagon, the real mole. So I think she wants to like sort of cut off all of Ty's, sort of grounding connections, really get him to like act rash, get him taken down by like the feds or whoever this is that's like spying on him, and then have him take the fall for all the murders, including Ivy's, so that like all of her legal troubles kind of go away. She can connect Ivy to the cult, and then that like solves her custody issue. It like solves her potentially going down for Ivy's murder. But also just like, do you buy, like I just don't buy that she would like go through all of this when all she wants is to like protect her son, allegedly.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this dark alley, and I think that maybe it started out as I need to get my son back, but as she kills more people and is deeper into this cult, that maybe she likes the power, the thrill, and is really seduced by this. And now, old Allie's dead. Let dark Allie live.
Yeah,
and take over the cult.
I definitely know. I think you're totally right, and I think that the finale will probably see her making that switch completely from like wanting to protect her family to wanting power and being like this mini Kai, essentially.
Yeah, and this whole show, or this whole season, it's sort of been leading towards, men versus women, the ultimate battle of the sexes. And I think, Kai, in this episode especially, he's not really behind getting a woman to lead in power. He's like the ultimate figure of male dominance, male, the patriarchy.
Which is weird because we saw in this episode that he actually sort of got started down this path as like the leader for the new scum movement, which once again, I just didn't understand how those things came together. I just didn't believe his intentions there. But it is interesting to see that like he was able to fool BB for so long that he wanted to, unleash female rage upon the world when really he is like the ultimate symbol of the patriarchy.
Exactly. And Allie is sort of the opposite of that, lesbian mom.
Voted for Jill Stein.
And she's, seeing her own ascension to power. So it's just man versus woman, and it's going to come down to who's the stronger sex, I think.
Yeah, well, who do you think is going to survive until the very end of the finale?
I think everybody's going to die except Allie. Like, unfortunately, I love Beverly, but I think she's going to go down in the finale.
But you even think Oz is going to die?
I don't know.
You're questioning it. You think Oz might die.
I don't know. See, I mean, she made all this effort to save him, and now she's being seduced by the dark side. Maybe the final
like that'll be the
push.
Cost for power.
Yeah.
Or like the cost for her really like committing to taking down Kai is like Oz becomes collateral.
He doesn't fit in with new Allie.
That's true. But yeah, I think Allie's gonna survive. I think she's gonna be Ryan Murphy's final girl again. I think Oz is gonna live. I think she's gonna like train him to be her like little protege going forward. But I think Beverly is gonna team up with Allie, and she's gonna like be collateral damage, and she's gonna maybe even like sacrifice herself to take down Kai. There is just no way Kai is living though.
There is no way my girl Beverly, after everything she worked for and has seen ripped away from her, that she's gonna sacrifice herself. If she's going down, it's not willingly.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Is like she would like put herself in, kind of murder-suicide situation. Like, if the only way to kill Kai would kill her in the process, I think Beverly would do that. Like, she was devastated when she found out that she did not drink that poison Kool-Aid. Like, she is completely broken, as we saw this week, and I don't think she'll ever really be able to regain her full strength, but I think she might, like, that might motivate her to sort of get back to a little bit of the old Beverly, but I don't think we'll ever see the old Beverly really, like, back in her full power again.
Yeah, the lion's definitely gone, and ain't coming back, and she's probably gonna die, and of course, Kai has to die.
And hopefully all of his followers. I hate those guys. I cannot remember their names. They all have stupid nicknames, and I can't tell them apart.
And And why are we suddenly learning about Speedwagon?
Yeah, like, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. I don't care if he's a mole. Who is he being a spy for? I don't know. Apparently it's going to be a big deal. Hopefully whatever sort of storyline he's having right now can just get transferred to Allie and we can just focus on her and not him, because I can't keep all of those men straight.
And I'm very angry that I had to learn his name and say it out loud.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if Speedwagon becomes a big part of the finale. So tune in next week for more American Horror Story Dissected.
And remember, keep it spooky.